I think it boils down to primarily 4 different duties. First of all, we hire and fire the city manager and provide him or her with direction in terms of how the city should be run. The second thing we do is we approve the budget every year. Third thing we do is we set policy for the city of Worcester. And then the fourth aspect of the position is we represent the residents of the city and hopefully act as their eyes and ears at City Hall. And being a district councilor, that's very important for my job. What I'm doing is I'm representing the constituents and the residents of District 5 specifically at City Hall. I think one of the most important needs going forward is going to relate to 2 of the high schools in the district. South High has been approved for new construction, and over the next few years that construction is going to be happening. And as the representative from the district, I want to make sure that that construction goes forward, and at the end of the day, the building is on time and on budget. And then subsequently, Doherty High School is going through the approval process. And again, I want to make sure that approval process is smooth and goes forward. A second issue that I think is extremely important for the district are the number of parks in District 5. And specifically, Hadwin Park has been approved for a master plan. And just like anything else, it's going to cost money through the budget. So I want to make sure there's enough residential input in terms of how that master plan will go forward, and then advocate for future budget funding for that park. And there are a number of vacant lots in the district, and I want to make sure that there's enough awareness and the administration is putting enough effort to go forward and make sure that those abandoned lots become developed over the next few years. I was born in Worcester, and I grew up on Burncoat Street. My parents still live there. I was the oldest of 2 siblings, and my parents were both Worcester Public School educators. My dad was a principal in the district. He was a principal of Mill Swan Grammar School, and my mother was a school psychologist, and went through the Worcester Public Schools. And when it came time to look at colleges, I ended up staying in Worcester, and I went to Holy Cross, got an undergraduate degree in political science, and a few years later I got a master's degree in community development and planning from Clark University. I grew up friendly with the son of a prior mayor, Mayor Tim Cooney, and I can remember being young and holding signs on the corner when he was running for his campaign, and just tagging along with my friends with him throughout the city and seeing what he did representing the city, and that always resonated. I always said I want to be in a position to give back like he is. And then the other occurrence, when I was at Holy Cross, I was a member of the rugby team, and the rugby team would volunteer with a nonprofit organization founded by a Jesuit at Holy Cross, and that nonprofit organization, Matthew 25, helped rehab abandoned properties in Worcester. And as the rugby team would go out and we'd volunteer, it was always special to me because I was doing this type of work in my hometown, whereas many of my rugby teammates were from New Jersey, New York, down in different parts of the country, but I always felt a sense of pride working along with them, knowing that I was contributing to my backyard where I grew up. Those 2 occurrences led me to, a further sense of civic responsibility. I currently work for a local community bank, and I manage their Community Reinvestment Act. And a lot of people don't know what the CRA is, but essentially back in the 1970s, the federal government came out and they mandate all financial institutions provide financial services to everyone in their market, specifically low and moderate income individuals and in low and moderate income neighborhoods. The prior District 5 councilor seat, Gary Rosen, was leaving the seat to run at large. And I looked at the opportunity to run. A lot of people approached me and said, Matt, we think you do a good job and we'll support your candidacy. And I talked it over with my wife and decided to run. And as previously mentioned, I thought I'd do a good job acting as the voice of many of the residents, all of the residents at City Hall, advocating for what they felt was important, and essentially that's why I wanted to run. You know, going into the job, I knew what it entailed. You know, I have been involved in politics for a long enough time where I knew the demands of the position. But just like anything else, when there are added demands to your plate, the time management skills are critically important. So I would say the challenge has been managing my time. I've been able to do that, but at the same time, it's been a change. So it's been a challenge, but nothing that I can't overcome, and I think I'm doing a good job so far. As a district counselor, as mentioned, I get a lot of calls and emails from constituents from anything from issues with snow removal to potholes, and I think I get a good sense of satisfaction when I can solve those issues and mitigate the concerns of the residents when it comes to any concerns they have. And I think that's so far given me a lot of satisfaction, solving the concerns or solving some of the issues that some of the residents have had. I think the most important thing is to show up. And when I say show up for events, show up for anything that's happening in the community. Worcester has numerous neighborhood meetings throughout the city, and I think it's a good exercise going to those meetings, listening to what some of your friends and neighbors have to say about what's going on, and then expressing your opinion regarding what you think is going on. The other aspect of making a difference or being involved in change is understanding the issues from every single viewpoint and every single side. You might feel a certain way, and I think it's important for an individual to advocate and to share their opinion, but just as important, I think it's necessary to understand other viewpoints, so that's the only way you're going to understand an issue, and hopefully at the end of the day advocate for whatever position you feel is most important, whether or not that's a public policy position or something as simple as I need a change in my neighborhood for whatever reason you may need that change. If anyone wants to reach out and contact me, I can be reached at wallym@worcesterma.gov.